Good evening. It's 11 o'clock. It is Sunday, May 30th, 2021. And the title of this video broadcast, which is sponsored by B.U.M.M.A, Know to Walk, to Talk the Talk, which is I'm the founder of, it's a counseling group for people that have gone through the training to become forensic peer specialists. This is an area in which where most people are not familiar with. And this title of this video is called Subtleties. And the reason why I'm basically speaking about this, I just wanted to let you know. That's the second time I'm going to say that because I'm going to go straight into it, and I'm going to actually try to explain to you exactly what I mean by this. Many of us have had a few interactions with people in our lives, friends, family, coworkers, things of that nature. The thing that I basically am trying to touch here is, our thoughts and the things that we think about ourselves and how people think outwardly towards us shouldn't really concern you or me. The reason why I'm actually speaking in regards to this is because it's interesting for me, because the subtlety of unwanted, undeserving, undesirable, unattractive conversations, feelings towards one another is something that, for the most part, nobody actually wants to talk about, and for the people that have been, schooled, have these places in their lives in which where they have some of those things on their walls. Are we really understanding how we affect certain individuals? The time is limited. It's so subtle that each and every one of you have no idea. Here's a subtle thought. How many of you have actually had so much interaction with people in a subtle way that the same people that you're talking about, they're no longer here? For me, the most important thing to myself is to actually be with somebody that is a companion. Like my last video, that embodies compassion to such a degree that they're free from the suffering of, well, what did I do? What did I say that was wrong? And in a subtle way, admit to it, acknowledge it. Don't you think every single human being on this planet has a sense of feeling? Because if you're going to act as if like you don't have a heart, what is the point with you having friends, at least, to even subtly consider you a friend? Hey, let me just say this. Even family members, you would have the same guts, the courage to even say, well, you know what? I don't care what so-and-so is doing or where so-and-so is going. Or this takes a certain degree of subtlety for a human being to notice you're actually cutting your nose off to despite your face. This is why, for me, I choose to remain silent most of the time. Because whether you like it or not, you're held accountable for every word, every action, and total behavior. Now, I'm asking you as someone that might take a look at this and say, well, what is Ramos Gaston talking about? What's his angle? What's his point? What do you mean? What do you mean? You alive and well, right? As far as you know, right? In a subtle fashion, subtle way. Can you tell if you're feeling good or feeling bad? But you're alive, right? But you know you're alive at this very moment right now. Are you feeling great? Are you feeling good? Or are you feeling bad? Remember, the title of this video is Subtleties. And I would like to know because, see, thank you, YouTube, for allowing me to express, explain, and pretty much share with you a part of something I myself I question about myself. Do I bother you? You know, occasionally I have strangers, and I don't know if this is a game, or I don't know if it's a human nostalgia or nuance of whatever. Why would you want to be with me? Because to be with me is I just put it to you like an eye for an eye. Now we're not even gonna go into the other aspect of tooth for a tooth. That's something totally different, and I'm not gonna go into that. My whole thing right now is to speak on many of us are definitely, I mean, listen, if you're living your best life, then I would do everything possible to continue having it that way. For me, I'm just saying, if I'm living my best life, I would continually doing the things to increase, advance, and get on to the next level of that evolution. And even in that itself is a subtle exchange. It's not a foreign exchange. It's a domestic exchange. I'm speaking on that personally because I was once in a domestic partnership. I terminated because I wasn't doing my job. As far as I'm concerned, I wasn't doing my job. Nor did I like the position that I was in because that's another subtle arrangement. See, I don't like wasting my time because timing is of the essence, and that in itself is a subtlety. So at this very moment, right now, as I'm talking to you, it's 6 minutes after 11 Eastern Time, New York, and I hope and pray in a subtle way for every human being to be kinder, to be patient with yourself. Because here's the thing, how are you ever going to recover and talk about, I want to change? I respect a person that says, you know what, I'm not going to change. Good or bad, ugly, indifferent, I'm not going to change. But guess what? I'm going to change my mind and say, oh, you're not somebody I want to actually hang around. Because I'm trying to improve myself. Before I go back to the essence, I'm trying to be a better person so that, you know what, there's a group of people that can say, I don't have to depend on Medication, I don't have to depend on, you know, services that enable and stop the possibility of me being independent and free to be a free thinking individual. And that is a subtle process. So, how many individuals are actually taking out the time every second, excuse me, of the minute? Some of you know I'm probably burdened because, I like my adult beverages, and, but still, my faculty, my attainment is still clear as a diamond, as sharp as the edge of a rock on the top of the top of the highest mountain. You can tell by looking at my head, my bald head. Like you see, it kind of goes like this, right? Right? I just want my people on this planet to understand something. I'm not here talking to you like I have nothing to say. I want you to look exactly in my eyes and tell me, do I have the look of someone that I have malicious intent? You see, I once knew somebody that told me, if I can't hurt you physically, I'm going to tear you down and just fuck with your head. Do you guys notice when you get into a relationship, this is what she does? And then the funny thing about that subtle behavior is that they'll turn it around and convince you that you're the troublemaker. That it's in itself is one of the subtleties. There's three phases of this. If you haven't noticed, the light got brighter for some reason in here. I don't know why. There's just a light right there. Maybe that's coming from the this thing right there in that this area right there. I don't know what that is because the ceiling is up that way, and maybe that could be a reflection from that. But it doesn't matter. But I'm not trying to spook nobody or anything like that. I'm just choosing this time to speak to you to understand that the subtleties of life is something that I take very seriously because just like I'm thinking and speaking to you right now, it's here. The place is here. The time is now, and I'm trying to expound because inbounds, there's a lot of speech, especially in a relationship, that the subtleties of its existence in itself, it will determine if that person really understands when they say they're with you. Some of the most heinous acts are expressions of the tongue. That's a subtlety. That will determine if a man will rock with you or a man will hit rock bottom with you. Understand what I just said? If a man or woman will rock with you or woman will hit rock bottom. And the subtlety in that in itself, some people won't even come to terms with. So they just go, well, I just won't talk to you no more. I'll just leave you alone. instead of coming to the essence of trying to convey and confess, listen, you know what, I was wrong. And the sad thing about it, this is why suffering continues. The cycle of suffering continues, because until you can sit down and say with yourself, you know, let me and say, you know what, I apologize. I mean, I don't think that was very nice. I don't think that was a good way to tell you how I feel about you or how you feel towards me. We don't go through these things because we're in this concept of having a deity or having some type of figure that is so above us when everything that we're going through is because of a human being. And that's a subtlety I want you to let that let that resonate. Question about the song or artist you're listening to? Just go ahead and ask while you're listening. Pardon the commercial interruption. Just ask Alexa. You understand? What's the song called? That's just Alexa. She's my I think that's like my my bedroom wife. I mean, this don't mind that. To get started, just say. I might as well do this because there's no comments, there's no subscriptions. And is this is literally from somebody that you can't see this. This is somebody from Instagram or whatever have you. My thing is, it's so subtle and how we don't have a control of our mouth. Just imagine if you lived in a world in which where everybody was so on point with what they said to somebody directly, because plain and simple, I don't want to hurt your feelings and I don't want you to hurt mine. So is that person you're sitting to right now, you're trying to call right now, that person that you don't want to come into your room, you don't want knocking on your door or in your room, and you kick out or go send them to the store because it's something you don't want them to know or hear. Subtleties. And this is the reason why I'm making this video. None of you actually are taking out the time to say a word. You're not subscribing. You're not leaving a comment. Because listen, if you are not part of the solution, you are definitely part of the problem. The subtleties of that problem. On the flip side, I'd rather be, part of the subtleties of the solution. And it all starts with you. And it ends with you. So I don't mind anybody that watches this. And I tell people, look, you can leave a comment, you can subscribe, you can tell me what in the world you think about my content. But once again, like I said, this is my foundation, this is my nonprofit. So, I'm going to speak from that perspective of what I know I'm talking about, what I'm trained in to speak about. Because the subtleties of life and death are very few, far in between. The subtleties. These are things that I want you to understand. See, I'm not talking to you about some other reference because there's plenty books you can pick up. Some of them are basic instructions before leaving Earth, and some of you don't even follow that manual. You drive cars, but a majority of you don't even read the manual of your car every day. You rather take it to the mechanic. Oh, this is not going right. This is not going right. That's not going right. I'm just going to take. I don't know if it's a fixation about men under the hood or whatever it is, because I don't know how a woman thinks. I just know from a man's perspective the subtleties of why I go outside, what I hope when I go outside I'm going to see, what I know what I'm going to come into contact with when I get on the train, what I'm going to see when I'm at the Whole Foods, the supermarket, the local store, the beach. You're looking for something. The subtleties. Hey, you don't gotta say nothing about this video, because you know what? What you're gonna do? You're gonna get upset with me? You're gonna tell me something that is a subtle, inaccurate opinion? You're entitled. That's why the title of this video is called The Subtleties. Because I want you to know, at one point or another, you're going to run into this. The art of what I'm trying to say is, when are you going to design that outline for yourself? So you could have the frame of mind and be like, you know what? I'm not going to go in that direction. Because guess what? This picture's not going to look too abstract. Because you're thinking just like 7 billion other people on this planet. The subtleties. When are you going to be a creator and not be of that and just be part of the truth behind the subtleties, so that you don't have to suffer with yourself anymore? You can be free from that. Because if not, you're going to end up in a psych ward. You're going to end up in some psychiatric service or treatment program, or you're going to lose your family, or you're going to just break up with somebody, or you're not going to be in contact with your children the way you should. And it's not going to be a traditional family structure that is pretty much wholesome. And there's subtleties in that transgression in itself. Obviously, we all would like to be in some type of progressive mode, in a vehicle in which where we're heading in the right direction. So I'm saying that for a reason, my people. All right. Thank you for taking out the time. And you can leave a comment. You can subscribe if you'd like to. And you can tell me what you think. Okay. Thank you so much. And I appreciate it.